Welcome, folks. Welcome to our broadcast. FYI family, a very good morning to each and every one of you. And we apologize for the late start this morning. And good to see so many of you already on the live. We have Debbie Collins here. We got Donna James. We got Errol Adams here as well. Good morning. Let me apologize too to the one and only Miss Jordan. I hope she's on the live this morning. I was to touch base with her yesterday, and folks, so many things got in the way. As a matter of fact, totally forgot Miss Jordan there, and so I wanna offer an apology. I when I say I come in. Angela, good morning. Good to see you. Happy to be here with you guys another morning. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear from the many places you're joining us from, folks. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Quite a few things coming out of that UN Committee on Human Rights, the Human Rights Committee there. Now we can talk about Gloria Chester. Good to see you there. Good to see you, Gloria and Colin. Angela, apologies again. If you all see Angela on the live, tell her I said I'm sorry. And all the folks I was supposed to touch base with yesterday. It was quite a day. It was quite a day yesterday, and getting set for these programs is painstaking work. Oh, some of y'all think when we finish the live, we gone and think coffee. You got to start. What's on this evening? What are we going to cover? What are we going to feature this evening's program? Yep. And while some of you on your first turn at 4 and 3:30 in the morning, we're up watching the wires, looking to see what's happening. So if you all see Angela on the live this morning, tell her how sorry we are. Tell her how sorry we are. I'm trying here with some Lipton. So you all know I can do a lot of talking. The tax says America's favorite tea. Guy needs to apparently. So some free ad there. Some free airtime for Lipton. Oh, send me a check, the man. Shucks. Sending up a bag, Emerson and Barbara and all the other folks. Dan Gribbs Andy's here. Wing up bag, Diane and Yonette. We want change we ways, folks. Smash that emoji button for us. What do you guys think of some of what came out of the United Nations Human Rights Committee? They're on the back foot, folks. They're on the back foot. I see Anil has come out swinging for his vice president, even though he's the one who really should be president and not Irfan. If you bright like Anil, how come you the back? Anil got more votes than Irfan in the internal elections. And I know they can contrive, they can do some massive rigging in the PPP's internal election, you see, to inflate Irfan's numbers. He don't come out looking bad. He doesn't come out looking bad if Anil's so bright. How come he's the president? He came out swinging for his vice president against those allegations of corruption. Folks, it's hurting them deeply. Anthony Jarvis, that their name is being mentioned at the UN, and it's not in terms of the housing policy or the climate change initiatives and the LCDS. No, corruption. Debbie Collins, it's hurting them real bad. That this is what they have to defend before the United Nations. Folks, do not underestimate this committee, Edward. Do not underestimate. And I see some of y'all saying he's going to swing more this afternoon, Luan Hall. He's going to swing more this afternoon. Folks, let's get into it. The first 15, it might be a little more than that, a little under, but the first. Onetsa Wardeen, good to see you there. All the other folks joining us on the live. Folks, over 300 persons watching us already. Let me see where they're joining us from. We got 172 alone on the tube watching us right now. We got 135 on our Facebook profile. I see we get the amalgamation, the summation at the back end. Those watching us on the Guyana Coalition Strong page, good to see you this morning. The many of you watching us on the Christopher Jones page, good to see you this morning. Great to have all of you on the live. So there's a lot, folks. There's a lot. So he came out swinging for his vice president, and some of that is picked up in this morning's papers. Oh, yes. He come out bashing the fellow that raised the issues about the corruption allegations surrounding the vice president, but they never clarified it. They have never clarified it as a government. They have never put Sue in a witness box and asked, how come you're slandering the vice president? So what are they worried about? Debbie, 400 plus and growing strong. Folks, smash that emoji button as you come in. Those of you going to coming back to watch the program, yes, you who've come back to watch the program, same you, smash that emoji button for us as well and share that live on your profile to a WhatsApp group, to a group you might be in on Facebook, so that others get the valid and credible information as well. I want to say big shout out to all of those watching us in the Ghana Coalition Strong page. Big shout out to those watching us on the MP Christopher Jones page. Share the live, folks. Those watching on credible sources, folks. Last evening, as we told you, folks, more and more folks have been migrating to our YouTube channel. We had quite over 1,000 watching us on my Facebook page. We had 1,900 persons watching us on YouTube. When we picked over 1,900, it's a lot. So as you come on, folks, let us know how you're feeling this morning. Smash that emoji button, folks. Smash that emoji button. A lot of questions were asked about Guyana's anti-corruption measures. They didn't do nothing. Lots was asked, folks, before this committee about Guyana's anti-corruption measures. But all that the Attorney General, the custodian, the CUSS, the custodian of the Constitution, heard was about Jagdeo. That's all he heard. That's all he took away. And so he ran out this morning bashing Lawrence, I think, Bueller. You gotta get it right? Bashing him. How dare you ask about the vice president? You don't know he's Saint Barrett? He's Saint Jagdeo? How dare you? Here the Human Rights Committee asking about Guyana's anti-corruption measures. They're asking some questions about our anti-corruption measures, folks. Take a look and take a listen. Yep.
Today, I will address Issue 5 on anti-corruption measures. The committee appreciates the extensive information provided by the State Party regarding this topic. However, we have questions about the functioning of various national anti-corruption bodies. For example, reports indicate that the Commissioner of Information is sometimes unresponsive to requests from the public, and that the Access to Information Act, which created this office, contains overbroad exemptions. The Public Procurement Commission has also come under scrutiny for the slow pace of its work and selective oversight of government contracts, which have long been a source of graft. Please provide further information about the recent activities of these bodies, as well as other anti-corruption institutions, such as the Auditor General's Office and the Integrity Commission. Additionally, please update the committee on the status of the Protected Disclosures and Witness Protection Acts, which the State Party has indicated have yet to be activated. The committee understands that the State Party dismantled the State Assets Recovery Agency in 2020 in response to concerns about its effectiveness. Please tell us which government agency is currently responsible for the recovery of stolen state assets and how it is pursuing this mission. The committee also reiterates its request for information on measures to ensure prompt and effective investigations into allegations of corruption and the prosecution of perpetrators. The committee is aware of public frustration regarding, for example, the failure to investigate reports of corruption by Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. The committee also notes allegations of corruption in the Guyana police force and in the judiciary. Would the State Party care to comment on these reports? I should also note that another member of the committee will address issues relating to the independence of the judiciary later in the dialogue.
Yeah, that's some of what was asked yesterday. Could you comment on some of these issues? But the learned Attorney General, he didn't hear any of that, you know. He didn't hear any of that. That is how they are. He didn't hear none of that. He didn't hear the last part. Could you comment on corruption allegations surrounding Voice President Borjogdio? Good folks, good people. We got to do better than that. You know, we were going someplace as a country. We were turning a corner. But some people didn't like that. We were turning a corner. Not so. 700 plus and growing strong on the live this morning. Folks, as you come on, smash that emoji button for us. Rastaman, we didn't go in some place. Wave Nidoras. Huh? We didn't go in some place. All he hear is Barjadyo. In that piece, folks, they're asking questions. Guyana, State Party Guyana. Comment on these issues for us. Our back channels, our high back channels, our research indicate we got some issues here. Could you comment on them for us? That was being asked there. And the final thing that was asked, could you comment also on corruption allegations concerning Voice President Barajadio? Could you comment on that? This morning's press, Irfan run out, not Irfan, Anil run out behind the UN Human Rights Committee. Is it the man I know we're talking about? These matters have been ventilated. Listen to Gail Teixeira's response to the committee. Listen to Gail Teixeira's response to the committee. Debbie and Waveney, Darlene, Marilyn, Edward. Listen to her response.
The issue of the Vice News accusation of Vice News report article on the Vice President of Guyana and acts of corruption. There's no follow-up, and because there was no police report made by Vice News or anybody else. And so the police cannot investigate without some form of report of complaint. However, the Vice President has answered this issue publicly several times in the same media that has carried these reports.
Yeah. He's already responded to Voice News, the Voice President. Folks, Ghana is not a real place, you know. Nobody didn't come forward with a complaint, so we can't investigate. And I want to refer our last evening's program with Comrade Ramjajan, who dealt with some of these issues. Dr. Vincent Adams, who named the call before the committee as well on some of these issues. I want to recommend that you go back to that program too. So those were some of the issues that came out. They asked about electoral reform, I think it is. And this one, if the response to the Vice President didn't stun you, guys, 800 and counting. Guys, the response to whether there have been electoral reform and the last local government elections, Tracy Clark, Waveney Doris, will stun you. It will stun you. Folks, I want you all know we were going someplace, you know, in this country. We were going someplace. But they didn't like it. They didn't like it. Under the last government, we had the best ratings on the Transparency International Index. The best. Right? When you all engage in the jacobats and the trench crappos, this is valid, credible information. And I'm going to be doing some writing on this. more in depth, the best ratings, right? I'm at the top, the middle top. We were removed from the European Commission money laundering blacklist, Maxine Monroe. We were removed from that blacklist. I tell you all, we were going somewhere as a country. While in 2023, under the PPP, Ghana was blacklisted by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. If we have rigors the way they want to perpetuate it, how come we not ask about corruption and we corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and then live in a room and doing deals and so on? They're not rigorous, but they're just corrupt through and through. It's the strangest narrative. The narrative and narrative in May 26, 2015, 10 days in office, the last administration passed the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act in the National Assembly. People don't want to touch this because this can affect business. This Anti-Money Laundering and Countering of the Financing of Terrorism Act, it can affect business. They don't want to touch this. Under the last government, Guyana received Tier 1 status for fight against trafficking in persons. Put in your pipe, Gail. And the DEA's office was able to open here after decades of trying under them boys. These are the facts. And that's why I say to you, we say to you, do not allow them to run away. No narrative and paint us as no rigors. They are the real sanctimonious gangsters. You never have to run out nowhere and defend Granger against corruption allegations. Now, did you? And your Attorney General, he might not have been the best, but the CCJ never said he brought the entire administration of justice into disrepute. They didn't say that about your Attorney General. They didn't say that about President Granger. He named him calling before the UN. He wasn't calling there about corruption. But I want to get back to the local government election and electoral reform. I want to get back to that. Listen to some of what Gail Teixeira unflinchingly said. Folks, Ansing, Troy Fraser, Joel Ward, Alson Jones, Mark. If these people could lie before the United Nations, you think it would take anything out of them to lie to people in East Rembel, in Lane Avenue? You could go to the United Nations and lie shamelessly. Look, don't take me word for it. Listen.
Questions were asked about the electoral reform. We reported in our presentation here today that the Representation of the People's Amendment Act 2022 and the National Registration Act 2022 were passed after a consultation period of over a year with political parties and civil society actors and stakeholders. And these amendments were brought to remove any lacunas and ambiguities in the laws that led to the tragedy of 2020 elections. And so these two major pieces of legislation went through consultations with civil society for almost a year. And furthermore, that they're in law and they were tested during the 2023 local government elections. The local government elections, there were no complaints whatsoever with regard to the manner in which the elections were may manage nor any accusations or allegations of fraud or any illegal activity. In relation to the Ghana Elections Commission, these are some areas that will require constitutional reform, as the Constitution gives the power to the Ghana Elections Commission to be the sole authority with regards to management of elections. Questions were asked.
Folks, listen, hold on. You heard that? There were no complaints in local government elections. Yeah? I remember dead people signed for living people, and that was raised as a national issue. Dead people signing for people who are alive. The voice president himself came out and apologized to families who their dead walked out of the grave in the greatest miracle ever seen and signed those documents. So I want Jack Judy. I want Sadish, Prakash, Stein. Gail went before the UN, Andrew Griffith, and Gail said we had no complaints. It was smoothly ran election. If Gail could do that before the United Nations waved the doors with a straight face, with a script written by Jack Dew, Sheila professing great love for Lyndon, Buxton. It's political survival. Gail fighting for there. Gail know she can't pass by us. But she gonna go and lie to that United Nations Committee on Human Rights and say we got clean hands. Clean hands. Clean hands. That's what she said. They cannot listen to that.
Questions were asked about the electoral reform. We reported in our presentation here today that the Representation of the People's Amendment Act 2022 and the National Registration Act 2022 were passed after a consultation period of over a year with political parties and civil society actors and stakeholders. And these amendments were brought to remove any lacunas and ambiguities in the laws that led to the tragedy of 2020 elections. And so these two major pieces of legislation went through consultations with civil society for almost a year. And furthermore, that they're in law and they were tested during the 2023 local government elections. The local government elections, there were no complaints whatsoever with regard to the manner in which the elections were managed, nor any accusations or allegations of fraud or any illegal activity. In relation to the Ghana Elections Commission, these are some areas that will require constitutional reform, as the Constitution gives the power to the Ghana Elections Commission to be the sole authority with regards to management of elections. Questions were...
Yep, no problem, she says. No problem whatsoever. It's nice time. Farida Bacchus. That's what she's saying. It's all like lie. Huh? Lie. You hear lie? Folks, that is lie. That is lie. Reading some of the comments here. Karen says she's a sick criminal. Lace Hempsey says it's a barefaced lying. Joel Watts, a queen liar. Not king, queen. Queen liar. Lie for so. Lie. Oh, oh, folks. And I told you yesterday morning and showed you some of what members of the committee said about her general attitude. You all remember the Vincent Adams story? They asked about the qualification of the person who is now the EPA director. She didn't answer the question yet, you know, but took umbrage at the kind of question that was being asked. That's what she said. You know, she took umbrage. Yeah. Even though she was lying about when Dr. Vincent Adams started to work in the EPA and some of the activities he was involved in. Lied. Listen to what she said yesterday.
The second issue regarding the director of EPA. The question yesterday came in regards to requesting the qualifications and on what basis or process regarding the appointment of the director of the EPA. We find this a rather odd question that the committee would ask us regarding an appointment of a person that's appointed by a statutory board under law in our country. We found it strange, and that we explained that there was a board, the Environment Protection Agency Board, that would have gone through. In fact, the present director has been in the EPA working there years before. The issue regarding the former director, the former director did not appear to have a problem when he was there from 2019 onwards to implement the production sharing agreement of 2016, which we all know is flawed and which we cannot change at this point. And so, because it is contract law. And so that was the reference made, but we do not feel that it's appropriate to ask a country in regards to appointment of a person who is appointed by a board of our country. The boards are covered by law and who comprises it. We also want to make it very clear.
Yeah. What is so difficult about that? To state how the current EPA CEO was appointed. But you're hiding behind board. And she said she find the question inappropriate. If your government is transparent and everything is above board, what are you worried about? Well, Marlon, here the big light coming on. Another light. The second big light. The first one was election. Here the second line now. You remember the cybercrime legislation that they're misusing? The cybercrime legislation. I've been taken to court twice and still got one matter in the court system based on that same cybercrime legislation. Thanks to the PPP. The Trench Crapo, the Jagabat case, was based on that legislation. The mayor and I, the previous mayor, Ubraj Narain, his worship, are in court right now using that cybercrime legislation. You all remember when we were out in front of the Georgetown Public Hospital in defense of those vendors there? The mayor said something on a live video. Oh, they said cyber crimes. Cyber crimes. Folks, listen to Gail Shearer on cyber crimes. Listen to her.
On the issue of the Cybercrime Act being used to prosecute persons, the Cybercrime Act we had in opposition and now have committed to amending that Cybercrime Act, and that the sedition part is a concern to us as well. However, we must ask the committee that the case that is referred to here, Rickford Burke, who does not live in Guyana, who lives overseas, of Guyanese of origin, but who constantly carries a race line, a division line on our people, attacks people on race, and in addition to that has called for the removal of the government. and the overthrow of the government, burn down the buildings, etc., and worse. I would wonder which country in the world would allow that to go on with no response whatsoever. And so, yes, the charges have been brought against him. He's not in Guyana and has not appeared in Guyana, and I'm pretty sure he won't. But he has also brought a case against me personally of a
Recording in progress.
of $500 million, charging me from United States for libel against him. And so he is also using the same legislation and defamation.
Yeah, that's what she said. Oh, Rick Ford talking about burning down buildings and not apportioning that. I don't know if it was there. She talks about, it's when they were talking about the media, not cybercrime. She said, we got a flourishing media here, man. Nobody's harassed. You got to get a piece for you. Nobody's harassed here. Right? They got several talk shows by the opposition. Yet for thing I talk on this show end up in court. Nobody's harassed in this country. Leon Blair, nobody's harassed here. She said, we give so many licenses. There's an open press. She didn't say it's on the last day of office in 2015. They share out 60 licenses and all to the friends. That's what they didn't say, Leon Blair. Anisha Yearwood Shepherd, that's what they didn't say. All is to be friends. All is to be family. All is to be favorites. That's what they didn't say. Because they start half and left half. So much happened there before. And as I told you yesterday, we got to dissect some of it in subsequent programs. Because there's so much, so much to get through, folks. That's just some of what we captured over the last couple. You could lie. And you know they ain't worried about all of that. You know what they worried about? Jagju getting a bad name before the UN. That's why the AG run out. Because the custodian of the Constitution, that's why he run out. Yep. Quite a few things we're following this morning, folks, as we dive or delve deeper into the 592. We can talk with Burke soon, too. We got to get Burke take on some of this. We're going to be talking to Burke soon. Folks, forgive us. We jumping over the hour a little bit. You know, we had a late start this morning, but we wanted to share a couple of things with you guys before we rush off. You know, this spate of industrial action that we're seeing, private entities and public ones have to do a greater job at educating staff members in the issue of occupational health and safety. Like so many other things, that's a one time a year rather event. Yeah, Occupational Health and Safety Week. And then it's all giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. And then the committees in some workplaces, in ministries, they go dysfunction after that week. Back to square one. That is how we operate. And we have to change that. We've seen a spate of these industrial accidents. Quite recently, there was one at Pretty Paul Singh Investment. The mechanic who was involved in that accident there has succumbed. And we saw overnight Pretty Paul Singh Investment saying that they're going to help the family as far as they can. You know, we can help families. We can be proactive in building a culture of safety and work sites. And this is not limited to Pretty Paul Singh Investment. I'm not hitting them in any way. But largely, businesses are consumed about chasing the bottom line. And safety is a distant thing. But it has to become foremost in our minds. You know, I was waiting for some folks to cross the road the other morning. And some folks behind me blowing me down. I know the pedestrians are the apex of your mobility pyramid. Motorists can get to where they're going eventually. I never see a pedestrian take an hour to cross the road. You might gotta wait 30 seconds, a minute and a half. Oh, they're blowing you down. Why you letting she pass? Why you? They're constructing some of these roads so badly that if you're coming out from a minor road, you get a terrible time getting onto the highway. If somebody doesn't stop for you to come out, you could be waiting there a long time. And so it's okay sometimes, even though you're on a major road, to give way. Because you know them boys coming behind you, they ain't stopping. Half hour later, you can still in a minor road, waiting to come out. Or they're blowing you down. Poop, 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 poop. Why you waiting for she come out? Why you waiting for he come out? Take your time and peel your pine. Let our workers be the top of our safety pyramid. Chasing the bottom line. Put systems in place. You know, for a long time. Look how we the backward. It's already now we getting shine, you know. Since Granger went in, we getting shine. You remember locally here, right? If you put on your seatbelt, people you say, like you think you're high and mighty, like you think you're from foreign. this this safety belt is for your protection. Is not a fashion statement. And so it boggles my mind when I see sometimes to stop the beep, and some of you guilty of this, y'all know that. Stop it. To stop the beeping. We push the safety belt in the clip and we put it behind us. We ain't got it done. And we fail to realize it's for our own safety. Right? Helping the family, whether pretty parlor, otherwise, it's not going to help the family really and truly. I think they'd rather the loved ones be there. And so all organizations, right, must have a greater sense of safety. Oh, on the roads here is wild, wild west. That's why we see the carnage. Nobody wants to it. Nobody wants to stop. Well, let's get along the road like driving Miss Daisy. One for dollar. Who vex? Y'all ain't killing me. It's not my time. One for dollar. You know? See me, you feel so good when you give somebody the way. You know, you stop and you allow kids to pass. One time I stopped for a child to pass. When I see her coming down behind me, like an express train, I had to stop almost like diagonally on the road because you got to block them. You know they don't wait. This you stop, you got on your hazard. Like they're still beating on the inside. Jesus. You remember the young lady in Region 3? On the pedestrian crosses, knocked down by a police vehicle, beating on the inside. You got on your hazard light. They see you come to a stop. They don't know. You know how to drive, and they're coming through. When I see what happening at the back of me, I say, no, I got to protect these children in front of you. I position the vehicle now diagonally on the road. So you got to hit me from all sides to knock them. We got to calm down in this place. I'm not even promising this national discussion, these measures, we can do this and that and so forth. But incoming for the Chingson, today's pretty Paul, and I told you there's an uptick in these industrial accidents. Right? An uptick. A man was injured at a factory at Bushlot. Bushlot was an explosion. Family begging for help. There's an uptick in these industrial accidents. Over time, people become complacent. Welders don't wear the helmet, and so you got to build incentives in the system. I'm not talking about. I studied industrial relations and management, and in that, the component was Occupational health and safety. I see my lecturer face now, Mr. Alda. Back in the old days, I don't know if Mr. Alda is still teaching. Occupational health and safety. I had another good occupational health and safety lecturer, Miss Arjun. Don't know where in the world is Miss Arjun now. Those were consummate professionals. No, it's little tap, 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 tap people. Marlon said they're not observing the OSHA rules. And if Marlon know the phrase OSHA, Marlon has to know this thing here. Occupational safety and health. So we got to watch that. There's been an uptick recently. You saw some mining incident. All of that's occupational health and safety. Some cave, some mining, something pit, cave in, and all of that is captured under there. And the teacher's issue with the money, that's what it comes down to. They got other issues that don't deal with money, but it's money basically here. Teacher want a little something more. Well, the debunching aspect of it, where based on qualifications and so on, you pay differently, you have different scales. Then boys, all the scales max out. Everybody right now, the far end of the scale, at the tip. So they ain't got no fiscal space to move any unless you're moving back, which means no money or less money. So they can't engage the bunching. It's no longer possible. That's what the fella said. Chief Education Officer. Y'all know the fella. See, some mornings I ain't be able with myself. Some morning I ain't be able with my own self. Marlon said she was a safety personnel at the Linden Hospital Complex. I know to know a phrase like that. You got to know yourself. Imagine there's no fiscal space there. My Lord. Saddam Hussein. My Lord. Move out competent people, you bring a man like Saddam. But being vexed with Hudson, you got house, you got mortgage, you got car loan and something to pay. Me vex. Because I competent with it. All this. Because you have to eat the bread. You understand that? People got to eat the bread. I understand that. But I can't think, I know I can do this work here. I studied this thing, I got PhD. Right? But you can knock me out, lash me out for bringing you friends and family favorites and flatterers and foreigners. A lot of F's now. Friends, family favorites, flatterers, and foreigners. Somebody sent me that overnight. Foreigners, this is the other F. How am I still going happy? You see a man in meeting rock back, sir. How you how you how you happy? How you happy? The fella the ministry there, labor, retired. He make no proper impact in education. They were happy to see him go. He retired one day as a teacher some place, and then he got now to make the lives of credit unions in this country difficult. He clock in Jilly G, Vashti Magnat, Naomi Drucker. Look, folks, Naomi, something to write home about, right? Naomi, how you doing? I'm just teasing this morning. Sabrina Blue, Anthony Jarvis, Linden. He clock out one day. Everybody trying to make up this country tough. I saw something when I went to UG. Stunned me. Stunned. I like engaging people at all levels. At all levels. And I became a friend with a cleaner. What do they call him? What do they say? Modern term. Help me out. She told me she was retiring and so on. from the system. You know, we wish her well and so on. Today's birthday, 21st. The lady retired on March 21st as a cleaner. March 22nd, she back at UG as a security guard. I understand. Things are tight in this country. People got to work. True story. True story. Cleaner on the 21st. Retired. 22nd, she back on the same work site. She's a guard now. People got to eat. So we're happy to see this fella here at the labor ministry useless. If you're so interested in credit unions and elections, you would have been there on the 2nd of March. But he absented himself. Now he asked for a whole host of information. But now, guys, he said, we man twice, so I repeat myself. If you're the one who had the meeting, you would have come. She turned on, retire one day as a sweeper cleaner, as a janitor. She turned on the next as a guard. I said, look, so here. Then is when I understand. Folks, you only think you're that bad, you know, until you hear and see some people's story. And sometimes you say to yourself quietly out of shame, I thought I did bad. I thought I did bad. I'm certain you all hear this analogy before, this anecdote before. A man on the bridge about to commit suicide. He think he had things bad. He saying, eat my last banana now. And I can make the plunge to my death. Concrete below. You know it's the because we got overpass. Like that. He say, eat my last banana now. And end it all. You're top of the bridge, you peel the banana, you throw the skin down. He literally, he's got the guy in his. When he throw the skin, before the skin hit the ground, a man run out from under the bridge, catch the skin and eat it up. Fellas, I think I had it bad. Change his mind. The man on the bridge about to end it all. He said, at least I got a banana. I think I got it bad. A man ran out from under the bridge, snatched the skin. Oh, that's the word. Eat it up. People got things bad in this country. So they bring Saddam from someplace because they got to get the guards. Marcel might do one and two things, but Marcel wouldn't go somewhere with them because he still got some God in him. They knock out the other CDO. I don't know where she gone. Well, based on her service, they probably elevate her. They knock she out. And they bring this left teacher from someplace. He don't know one thing about trade unions. And he asking people who are trade unionists, he's not satisfied with this and that. So we upside down. Meanwhile, I'm very worried about the direction our young people are going in. And poverty is just one of the reasons. It's just one. Saw recently a young lady, I didn't realize she was 15. I couldn't watch it. When I saw the lady struggling with the gate, every man said, girl, why you don't run inside? But when I understood how young she was, I could imagine. I could understand how frozen by fear she could have been. I said, you left this gate and beat inside. But maybe she hears her family saying, close the gate, close the gate, close the gate, close. I think I must keep the gate closed. She's trying to close that gate. Bandits outside, trying with somebody in the car there, and she's frozen there. Man pull the gate, one box. Got two of them. Teenagers. Mother milk still in the face. Teenagers. Teenagers. Not a young man. We've been talking here about this proliferation of cannabis sativa. 500 million since the year start. I can see some companies locally saying, like, we got to change our offerings. We got to diversify the portfolio. This thing making money. Young man held at Mango Landing with a new green goal. We're not getting who own the lands that planting up all of this green gold, though. That's why we keep saying we get these small fishes, but the big ones, they're not being apprehended. They're not being pursued. You see? But we're watching it, folks. We are watching it. 2 teenagers arrested for this, the slapping up of this young lady. This young man here, unsavory activities, right? And then a young man who stole a cell phone. He told the magistrate, listen to this. Tell me you got a devil loose. And the preacher who lived next to me years ago wasn't a prophet. He said something pop in my head. Make a steal his cell phone. Don't dismiss that lightly. Don't dismiss that lightly. Folks, don't dismiss it lightly. He said something pop in my head. And all of us have had to make a determination at some point. See, some things pop in my head sometimes. It's the devil. And a little preacher be saying, blood of Jesus. Something's pop in my head and said, is it you, Lord? Is it you? Who was the prophet? Eli tell you, when you hear the voice, ask, is it you? What will thou have me to do, Lord? He said, hear a voice pop in the head. Things ever said tight with you, hear a voice pop in. But if you can't do the time, let me tell the judge, you know. Naomi Joker says something pop in my head too. I can imagine a lot of things she popping in Naomi's head. Please share with us, Naomi, what has popped in your head? And Neon Harding a part of the clue. Neon says it's the Molly. The Molly that got them popping. He said something pop. Something pop. All of us comes to that decision line. That's how all them robberies happen, you know. It's a thought. Something is pop. And they say, you know what, I can do this thing here. When Onit put your hand on the Bible, something them popping she had. Knowing that she's a dual citizen. I ain't gonna lie here. What about Gail in the witness box before the UN Human Rights Committee? She gonna make a decision. I ain't gonna lie here. This is but political survival. And my party got to win. We got to be out front. Something popping she had to. And she said, I go to the dark side. You think men just appear in a living room? Huh? Something popping in my head. And he said, you know what? I gotta make it here by. Me want me poor again. Right? Don't let the girl go invest. I see people in my living room. Right? So you can be the receptionist. You can bring them in. Right? Something popping in his head. And he went to the dark side too. It's not only young people had things popping in. Yeah? When you open a hotel room window and you see 3 feet, 3 stories, you decide you can jump. Something pop in your head. When you say to go in the hotel under certain circumstances, a pop is a pop. 100 strap, Molly done pop. You gotta pray for this country. And pray for our young people. You know, pray for our young people. They got a tough time here, boy. You got a tough time. Handouts and going every place, you know. We hearing the Minister of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs lying before our eyes. God, what are you doing behind my back? Those are the questions that haunt me. If this way you're doing in front of my face, what are you doing behind my back? Huh? What are you doing behind my back? Folks, we're going to leave it there. Leave me with those few thoughts this Thursday morning. Again, we apologize for the late start. Kyle is here. Bino is here. And Marcy Agard is here. Edward Brooms. Folks, thank you for putting up with us. If you can, nobody's on the... I want something poppy. Y'all here. Y'all send us something to keep us going. Those are things I want to start popping. Good to see so many of you on the live, watching the names go by. Good to see so many of you on the live this morning, good folks. All right, I see Everett Leonard is here, and Gavin Sees is here as well, and Osman. Fidel Albert is here too. And all you other folks, thanks for being here with us. Well over 1,300 persons join us this morning live. Thank you so much. Smash that emoji button if you can, folks, for us. Let's know how you're feeling this morning. Share the live as well. Guys, you're heading out there. We want to recommend, if you're doing some business in the city, we want to recommend the Alistair Collins Farm. They're right on there, the Callion Mall and Lamahan Street between Camp and Waterloo Streets. Your number is 649-6410, 685-6448, 649-6410, 685-6448. Expert on all your documentation needs. If you need a good justice of the peace, you need a good commissioner of both affidavits, we want to recommend them highly, folks. That's how we recommend them. Good to see each and every one of you, folks, on with us this morning. We recommend this company, this firm to you highly for all the documentation needs. I know some of you go across by the passport office, which is just around the corner. You need a justice of the peace. They're right around the corner there. You need a commissioner of both affidavit. Sign up those forms for you. You know, I don't know if they're doing passport photographs there as yet, but they look after your documents and so on. And you might got other documentation needs, legal needs, and so on, such and so forth. That being said, folks, we're going to leave it there this morning. We recommend them highly. Thanks for that contribution to our program. I saw somebody do live. Donna George, thank you so much, Donna. It means a lot to us. It's going to help to keep us going. And I think I can do it from my end here. I'm going to post that link, folks, where you can subscribe automatically to our program every month for a small fee that helps to keep us going. I'm asking so unashamedly this morning. I'm asking. You know, somebody asked me yesterday if we did purchase the generator. Folks, we didn't even launch the fund yet properly, right? And we're aiming for something. I'm looking at one of these generators. If you guys have another, that's the one that's been recommended for us, and it's going to cost us 2 point something. So we're looking at it on its capacity and so on, because we need something. We want to come off the grid, you know, especially when we're doing our shows. We want to come off the grid a little bit. So we're not affected. We're not affected, folks, but that's going to do it for us this end. So no is the short answer to the question whether we had procured a generator yet, folks. I don't know if people send us $200 yet to the generator properly. But we haven't launched it properly as an initiative here too. So there's that. But we're watching it, folks, trying to get all the specs in place and so on. And we can shoot that at you guys. And I did say we're doing some meetups, which aim to be fundraisers towards that very project there. Yep. So that's going to do it for us at this end. Desiree and all you other wonderful folks today, Good to have you guys on the line. Good to see you, Yolanda and Renella, Valerie, Sandra Hanover, Everett. Debbie, you know they got a businessman out there who wants to take a generator. Take a generator on us. We got to go. We got to go. We can do it that way too. Right? Everett and Renella, Magnell, and all the other folks. That's going to do it for us this morning. That's our time, good folks. That's our program until the next broadcast.